And so you connect with people in your words and in your music with the assumption that they care. Speaking from the Dharma, the Buddhist is speaking from the assumption that they have a boundless heart. That's the definition of the bodhisattva. So, and I know I've told you how in the early days of this work, almost 40 years ago, when I was scared every time because no one had done this before, and I just thought, oh, people are going to walk out of the room when they hear. But they didn't, and I was able to find that it would help me not be afraid, to tell myself, these people are bodhisattvas. That means these people, in their true nature, their true hearts, are a part of the web of life, and that the connection with all life is right there in them. If not in consciousness, right on the edge of consciousness, and can just be called awake. And they've seen it and they've known that when they take care of a baby or fall in love or
want to cook someone sick a hot soup.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't care beyond your own personal self, you wouldn't have that impulse.
So addressing them as bodhisattvas, you don't have to preach at people. Don't you realize that it's bad to accrue so much more money than anybody else? Don't you realize that it's not good to lock up so many millions of people in prison on the incarceration industry? Don't you? We don't need to do that, do we?
No, I mean...
Because we assume that we're talking to people who care, and then they suddenly realize that, oh yeah, I am caring.
Yeah, and aren't too distant from the experience that I might have of waking up confused about why the world is the way it is, without necessarily a lot of tools for learning how to metabolize or understand it. And so offering a toolkit for being able to be present to a larger planetary moment seems to be far more empowering and liberating of intelligence and creativity than trying to convince someone that we have a big problem here. You know?
Yeah.
So something that I want to get into a little bit, I know that I was caught so much by when I initially learned about the bodhisattva's intention from you, which is known in the text as bodhicitta. And so I'm wondering if you can give us a little bit of a bodhicitta rundown, and maybe we can see where we go with that.
Yeah, well, let me say then that the bodhisattva is the like the hero figure in the Buddhist tradition. And I find myself using the term even in talking to almost anybody in English, because we don't have a word for that. So if you want to translate that or define it, it would be a person who truly gets it that we are radically interconnected. Our lives are reflections almost of the whole complexity of the universe. It's so sweet and important for us to grasp now, because we in the Western world are suffering from 5 centuries of the most cruel shrinking of the hyper-individualized, separated, isolated self.
Right.
competitive self. And it's like we've all had a kind of foot binding of the spirit and of the notion of our true nature and who we are, and subject to feelings of separation, isolation, competition. And so the bodhisattva gets it, that our connections, you can't draw a limiting, any kind of frontier or defining line limiting what we belong to, what we reflect.
Right.
We're like a nerve cell in a neural assembly with gazillions of synaptic connections.
Right.
And so and that births in a person such a sense of caring and compassion, and also a sense of resources, that another person's strength and another person's achievements are just not their separate possession, but also are what we draw on, just as I can draw on your qualities and be inspired by them, and you can draw on my experience and teachings. So, any rate,
it's like the bodhisattva knows that it's constantly in cahoots with all of life that's trying to bring about a life-sustaining life on the planet, in the cosmos, and that there's challenges and there's things butting up against and all these things, and that it's all an interrelated, participatory,
and
kind of a soup that we're in.
And doesn't get all bent out of shape by the forces that destroy, because the bodhisattva knows that life itself is a process of weaving and interconnecting and differentiating and widening circles of identification. So that word widening, so that poem of Rilke's that I say all the time and sing to in my own heart. I live my life in widening circles that reach out across the world. That's a bodhisattva statement, isn't it?
Right.
So that we don't have to strain to be good. We don't have to strain to be kind and compassionate. We just get out of the way of what becomes a natural response, a natural capacity.
It seems like, to connect to that, we just simply re-inhabit our place in the web of life.
Beautiful.
We re-enter, we re-inhabit, we remember.
Right.
It's natural to want the well-being of another creature because we're all in it together. It's the most natural thing. It's,
And so sometimes the tears that I see happening in a workshop are tears of relief.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't have to inhabit this loneliness any longer.
Yeah.
I really do belong. I inter-am with others. And so I will remember that you, Blessed One, you really caught it when I started talking about bodhicitta, which is the motivation of the bodhisattva.
Right.
And it's had a boring definition for many people, which is I'm ready to be enlightened for the enlightened, or I'll be enlightened I'll work for the enlightenment of all beings. But you helped me recognize and stand firmly, of course, no, it's my natural instinct to work for the fullest happiness and development of all beings.
Yeah, I was so caught by it being not just the capacity to be with suffering, but it's also the impulse to do something about it. And as soon as you said, I said, well, what happened to that? What's the health of that in our culture and in our society and our world? Because that seems like maybe what all of it would ride on. And then,
Yes, I love that. It's what it all rides on, the bodhicitta. And so then, early, I think that was just maybe in the second year or third year of our friendship, you began to look at, well, if that's the case, what wounds it? Yeah. What happened to it in our culture?
Right.
That we have this natural capacity that seems to be crippled.
Right, because as soon as we talked about it, I felt like I could see really clearly that it was wounded in some way, and that wounding might have something to do with overwhelm around the level of crisis that we're facing as a species. And especially when I started reading more about bodhicitta, and that it was the most valued of human qualities in some of the Buddhist texts, and that there were different things that you practice, ingredients to help keep it healthy.
And I loved the metaphor that was used by my early teachers, where they spoke of bodhicitta like that intention, like a candle in the heart, a little flame in the heart. It's so important that it be there. So you just want to be sure that nothing blows it out, that it doesn't get extinguished, because this is the most precious thing you have.
Right.
Though actually, I think that you could say that it doesn't get blown out very easily.
It seems to be a fundamental healing intelligence from life to herself, to me. It seems to even go beyond any kind of a human-to-human definition we could give it. And that the trajectory, the impulse to be in front of suffering and then stir up any medicine that you have to offer it, that could be something fundamental to the forwarding of life. And if it's stimulated by suffering, then we better try cultivate the inner tools we need in our time.
And I think it's also
to
about
face
time
suffering.
To that I would like to say emphatically that capitalism has been toxic to bodhicitta. We have been taught to pursue our own lonely, measurable goals, to get on top of the heap, to accumulate no matter what it does to others, charging interest on everything is for making money, commodify every part of life, and charge on it and accrue it in this competition. That shrinks the soul, and it's been poisonous to our natural capacity for bodhicitta and caring. So I think that it's, don't forget the political conditions which are inimical to the flowering of caring. We're told to look good, be popular, so.
We don't have enough, buy things, fill yourself up.
Yeah, so that so by moving around and what was their interactions in the work that we call it's very interactive, that bring forward this caring. And one we start with, partly because, and you must feel this, because the situation for life now on this planet is so dicey.
Yeah.
There's so much that is hard to take in, that we actually start with gratitude. And our birthright to be glad we're here. That grounds us.
Right.
And not to start out with complaints. Oh, they're too many, hunger, world, pollution, nuclear war. We're alive. And just to look at what you're glad about. I have been looking at trees out there through these windows, and the image of trees. And I have memories of my life, memories through my life. The orchards on my grandfather's farm, the Central Park in New York, where I had to spend 9 months of the year, every year, going at, something growing. So the field of asking what delights you, what are you glad about, that immediately turns the switch or opens the faucet to a kind of, what are the things you really love about being alive?
They're like lifelines.
Yeah.
It's a deserving entry point. It's rooting.
And then it's not a question of whether you're good enough or smart enough or successful enough or rich enough. It's a question of, I love it when I feel the wind on my face. I love the sound of water running in a brook. I love the taste of a ripe pear. And that beginning stage of the work that reconnects, when we do this together, there's something that in and of itself, even if we were to do nothing else, just opens ourselves to life.
Mm-hmm. Right. Taking stock of the life that you're already connected to outside, beyond yourself.
Yeah.
And that there's something worth taking pleasure in still in the world that's at your back, which is what I think indigenous traditions and many traditions knew when they would do their gratitude practices.
Especially in this continent, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They knew to start with gratitude. They knew to root there. And I also love the dimension of it in our time that's politically subversive. That gets me so much. That when you live in a political economy that wants you to feel needy and insufficient, so you buy things.
To be grateful is a revolutionary act.
Right.
Yeah.
It's subversive.
It's good because we think of it as our Pollyanna, how sweet, she's grateful.
Right. And it's like, no, it's got some weight to it. It's fundamental, maybe. It's only Pollyanna if we make it that way. Because we know we're going to also have to talk about the terror and the troubles that are happening. So how do we enter into that? By claiming my birthright to be alive and to notice the life that is pulsing around me and through me and with me. It does. It gives me a sense of strengthening. And I need it. I need the reminder. It's easy to get amnesia about that and go, I'm without, I don't have anything. I don't have any skills. What do I have to offer? That's why I love that open sentence, some things I appreciate about myself, that we do in the workshop. That one's always a kicker.
I'm glad you remember to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then how, in the next stage, honoring our pain for the world, and this, going that in a spiral. Speak about how that awakens us to our caring.
Well, you always say when we talk about what we love, it can naturally bring up the pain that we feel on behalf of that care. That they can be...
And vice versa. When we speak about our anguish, our grief, our outrage about something, it becomes clear as day when we're free to speak that, as if we're not going through some kind of automated little smiley face on everything. But if we dare to say, oh, speak what causes me to boil with anger when I see what they're doing at the border to those children, then all of that pain is an evidence of our caring.
And we can be unafraid of it. It's the most natural thing.
Yeah.
It would be the most natural thing to be on planet Earth when these kinds of things are happening and have that reaction.
Yeah. And that is what the system, the powers that be, the business as usual, they would have us believe that this is
doesn't have
toxic.
value. Yeah.
Yeah, or that this is
right.
a form of pathology. Mm-hmm. Good.
When it is born, it wouldn't be there if you didn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
It's instead of seeing it as something that's... It's not to say that it's not a struggle to wrestle with it, right? It can be a struggle to wrestle with it. In our time, are you kidding me? Like, I could scroll on Facebook and in 60 seconds, all the different things that I have access to knowing about in 60 seconds is overwhelming. Of course, I struggle with it, But to come out of isolation with it is invaluable. To be in a group of people where you talk about it together, to learn tools for metabolizing it, which gratitude is one of the bookends, I think. And then being able to learn how to be unafraid of it and see it as I almost see it as hopeful.
And you don't need to protect yourself from your own grief. Because that grief is the exquisite, well, it moistens the soul, but it's the exquisite demonstration of the immensity of your caring.
Right.
Yeah. And then when you, in the stage of the work that reconnects, of seeing with new eyes, that's when, I bet, and when you're leading a workshop, you speak explicitly about bodhicitta.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I mean, I think that it's, we can feel this pain for the world, and the only reason it's there is because we're interconnected with life and have a desire for the well-being of that life that we're interconnected with. And I think that's part of the roots of bodhicitta, is that care that goes far beyond yourself, but extends to wanting grace and well-being and restitution and dignity for a life that extends so much further than your own personal well-being.
Yeah.
I guess like oxygen.
I love hearing you speak it in ways that are so fresh and so deeply felt. It's appropriate. And there's no other medicine, I don't think, that can wake us up like that.
Mm.
And then, of course, the fourth stage, coming around the spiral, going forth, then there's the relief and completion of fulfillment of actually linking arms with people and going and doing something.
Which I think bodhicitta extends into as well, because I think you feel it and then you listen for what your own bodhicitta tells you would like to be a part of in the ecosystem of healing of the planet. I always tell people in workshops, I say, you don't have to carry all the torches. You're actually part of a whole bunch of torches, and all you have to do is figure out yours and what you want to carry. And that can be liberating. And that is your, like you were saying, the flame in the heart. It's like the flame in the heart made real, you know? Or not made real because it already is real, but being born even further. And that we can rest into...
counting on it, using it, taking it forth.
That it's an intelligence that's within us, in cahoots with Earth.
So when I come back to this is our first conversation of 2019, and already I feel even more grateful for being alive right now. That I'm here at this point in the living planet. Science and spirituality alike are helping see this is a living planet, and we have this time to make a difference. And whether we can make a difference that we can measure and see, we still have a chance to step together, arm in arm, sing together,